This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WLCX Daily News Roundup for the Eagle 1490 AM in La Crosse.
For AM 1490 WLCX, I'm Jimmy Kuska. A former Wisconsin congressman has been confirmed to President Donald Trump's cabinet. With more, here's Civic Media's Stuart J. Waddles.
Former Wisconsin Congressman Sean Duffy received bipartisan support during his confirmation hearing to become President-elect Donald Trump's Secretary of Transportation. Both Wisconsin senators, Republican Ron Johnson and Democrat Tammy Baldwin, introduced Duffy. They both expressed confidence in his ability to lead the department. During the hearing, Duffy pledged to prioritize safety.
Duffy will replace Pete Buttigieg as the Department of Transportation Secretary. A famous western Wisconsin brewery is set to close tomorrow. With more, here's Civic Media's Savannah Tomei Olson.
Molson Coors announced in November they'd be closing the historic brewery and sending production to Milwaukee. The Jacob Leinenkugel Brewery first began there in Chippewa Falls in 1867. The Leinenkugel family is set to keep the Leinie Lodge and a small pilot brewery. They've said this last week before the closure is like a funeral. Last weekend, the family, employees, and even retired staff all gathered to share memories. But now they have one last hope. Dick and Jake Leinenkugel confirmed to the Chippewa Herald they're trying to convince Molson Coors to let them keep the brewery under Leinenkugel's leadership. So far, the company hasn't taken them up on that offer, but they're staying optimistic. For Civic Media News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson.
When the brewery closes tomorrow, 90 people will lose their jobs, including 56 people in Chippewa Falls. Wisconsin's new reading program under Act 20 could be on its way towards being an unfunded mandate by the state legislature. $50 million is held up in the Joint Finance Committee over a disagreement between Republicans in the legislature and Governor Tony Evers on how the money should be spent. The already approved funding was tabbed for materials and training for staff at schools to implement phonics-based literacy for elementary school students. If the money isn't released by June 30th, the funds go back into the state surplus. A La Crosse man has died after falling from the roof of a construction site in Dane County. DeForest police said that 23-year-old Robert Snodgrass Jr. of La Crosse fell at the site of Quick Trip's new distribution center 1 week ago. Police said that he died at the scene. Officials are still working to determine a cause of death, according to a release. DeForest Police, the Dane County Medical Examiner's Office, and the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, are currently investigating the death. A man has been arrested after crashing a vehicle into a home in Holmen yesterday afternoon. Holmen police said that the crash happened on the 3200 block of Meadowlark Lane around 2:30 p.m. The 38-year-old man driving the car lost control, drove through the yard, and then crashed near the front door of the home. The man was then arrested for his fourth OWI. Nobody was in the home at the time of the crash, which damaged the siding and frame near the front door. The vehicle had to be towed from the scene. On the agenda for Thursday's La Crosse County Board meeting is a $250,000 resolution that would support the La Crosse Regional Airport's plan to attract a second airline. Currently, only American Airlines flies out of La Crosse, and it's been that way since Delta left in June of 2023 over a lack of workers. The airport's manager said that they will need $1.5 million to bring Delta or any other airline back. The funds sought from the county would help in reaching that goal. The list of schools in our area heading to referendum continues to grow. Prairie du Chien will seek an operating referendum for $7 million over 4 years this spring. Other districts with April 1st referendums include Independence at $27 million, Holmen at just under $20 million, Cochrane Fountain City at nearly $17.5 million, Whitehall at $2.5 million, and Melrose Mindoro at $1.2 million. In Mauston, a referendum for $7 million is on the ballot February 18th. Today and tomorrow will be a brief warm-up before a cold snap arrives for Sunday through Tuesday. Highs today and tomorrow could reach 40 degrees in some places in the Coulee region, but reality sets in as it is winter in Wisconsin, with high temperatures Sunday through Tuesday not even getting to 0 degrees, low temperatures in the negative teens, and wind chills as low as negative 30, according to the National Weather Service in La Crosse. We'll have more details coming up in our forecast. You can take Civic Media with you anywhere you go with the free Civic Media app. Download it now at civicmedia.us/app. From the Civic Media Newsroom in Western Wisconsin, I'm Jimmy Kuska for AM 1490 WLCX and lacrosseeagle.com.
A Packers coach has a job interview. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NFL, Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley has been invited by the New York Jets to interview for their head coaching position. How did the Packers defense perform under Hafley? Matt LaFleur.
You make the necessary adjustments and you put your guys in position, and then ultimately those guys got to go out there and execute. And I thought Hafley did an outstanding job, and it's not just Haf, it's our entire defensive staff did a really good job with that.
Mike McCarthy interviewed last night with the Chicago Bears. NBA. The Bucks with a win at home, 122-93 over the Orlando Magic. Giannis with 26 points. Damian Lillard led with 30.
One of the main things was pace. Just seeing it on film and seeing how much better my rhythm to the game is and my timing and just my movements are when I get the ball up the floor with pace. It's good for our team, but it's also been good for me.
That's the Bucks' Damian Lillard. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. If you're looking for some fun indoor entertainment, given the frigid temperatures on the way, here are some movies that might interest you. There continues to be no shortage of horror films, and if that is your genre of choice, check out a new take on the age-old classic Wolfman, starring Julia Garner of Ozark fame. Also opening in wide release is the comedy One of Them Days, starring Keke Palmer and musical artist SZA, which tells the story of two roommates scrambling to pull rent money together. At the time of this reading, the film is pulling a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and SZA's acting chops have impressed critics. Coleman Domingo's role continues. The film Sing Sing will be re-released this weekend, and if you happen to be incarcerated, you're in luck as well. The film will be playing in correctional facilities all across America, and that makes sense since Sing Sing tells the story of teaching rehabilitation through the arts, and has almost a perfect audience and critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go to the movies. If you're looking for a trip down TV memory lane and were a fan of the show Twin Peaks, this might pique your interest. The murder mystery drama set in the Pacific Northwest will be available on Blu-ray box set. In addition to all the seasons, there will be 27 hours of behind the scenes and extra features. The box set doesn't officially drop until February 3rd, but you can currently pre-order it on Amazon for a cool $56. Actors work odd jobs to pay rent before their big break. For actor David Schwimmer, one of the gigs included serving divorce papers after his freshman year in college, thanks to his lawyer mother. The Friends actor and star of the new show Goosebumps told Stephen Colbert he once served singer Rod Stewart with divorce papers. Apparently, Alana Stewart, Rod's wife at the time, no longer wanted his body or thought he was sexy. Goosebumps is available to stream on Peacock. Award show nominations are pouring in this time of year. Great movies wouldn't be great movies without a really good script. The Writers Guild of America has announced its nominations for the 77th Annual WGA Awards. Nominations for Best Screenplay in the feature film category include Enora, A Complete Unknown, Challengers, Wicked, and Nickel Boys. The British Academy of Film and TV Awards also announced its nominations for Best Feature Film yesterday, and there was a little bit of crossover. The BAFTA Best Feature Film nominations also included Enora and A Complete Unknown, but not Wicked, Nickel Boys, or Challengers. In addition to Enora and A Complete Unknown, Conclave led the way with 12 nominations, followed closely by Emilia Perez with 11. The fifth nominee, The Brutalist, drew 9 nominations. So many award shows to watch, so little time. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Mostly cloudy and breezy this morning. I think we'll see a little sunshine by later this afternoon with a high in the low 30s today. It will be less windy this afternoon, too. 23 tonight, tomorrow, cloudy in the mid to upper 30s. And then hang on, it is going to get brutally cold later this weekend into early next week. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 33.
That's your WLCX Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lacrosseeagle.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.